Peace and light, come on in. Peace and love, peace and power. Come on in, family. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. This week, all this week, we have been talking about. Oh, before I even get into that, let me play the video real quick. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. You are watching Magic Up TV. I am your host, 70 Alchemist. Here's where we talk about love, we talk about law, we talk about all things. You understand there's nothing off the table. Here's where you say, or here's what we say. Life is easy, we make it hard. You know what to do when you get here. Hit the love button, hit the share button, let somebody know that the Alchemist is in the building. Grand rising, good afternoon or good evening, or whatever time you're watching this video. All this week we have been talking about like soul ties and that type of thing, right? So today we're going to talk about possessions. See, magic is not just when you decide to do a ritual. Magic is not when you just decide to say a mantra. Magic is not when you decide to do like a kata or body movements or yoga or something like that. Magic is everything. And a lot of times, if not conscious, we can have our magic taken from us. How? Because we allow people to come into our life and dictate to us. It's not about when we decide. What I'm talking about right now is when we allow people to dictate to us what we should keep and throw away. I remember when I was in the church, right? I was first baptized, and I had a CD collection. I mean, my CD collection was crazy. It was crazy. It was absolutely ridiculous, right? And one day, one of the deacons came to my barracks. I was in the military. And he looked around, he looked around, he looked around, he looked around. He was like, man, you know, you got a lot here that is sinful. That's a whole nother topic. Is there such thing as sin? I'm going to do that one. Anyway, he turns to me, he says, you know, Seven, you should throw these CDs away. You should throw this stuff away, man. This is like, you know, it's worldly music, da-da-da-da. Okay. And I did. I threw it away. Now, what's the point that I'm making? Number one, I wasn't led to throw it away. I was told to throw it away by somebody, okay? Now, it wasn't even somebody that I referenced too much. It was somebody that just, that represented my reverence. You understand? And a lot of times, like, I remember when I first came into this world of spirituality, or this conscious community, I'll say that. I remember when I came into the conscious community, and it was one sister who I shall not name, that had a group of students. And most of these students were married. That's the key, okay? I want you to listen. Most of these students were married, and she was not. And in order to be her student, you know, these women, these grown women, were, I would say, bullied. I would say they were extremely afraid to have their own mind while under the tutelage of this woman. And this woman was telling these married women to be abstinent from their husbands for 3 to 6 months at a time. When I heard this, I was immediately angered. Immediately, okay? Why? Because your chastisement, or what do they call it, chastity, your chastity should be a choice of your own. It should be a choice of your own. I'm getting to the possessions, but I got led here first. For some reason, some of y'all gonna need this. Your chastity is your own. You understand? So just as possessions, you can't have people talk you into giving up things that you yourself are not ready to give up. Why? Number one, because of the spirit. Everything must start with a willing mind. If not, then what do you call it? Resentment takes place. Okay? It must start with a willing mind. If you're forced into alignment, then it's not alignment. Listen to that again. If you have to be forced into alignment, then it's not alignment. Okay? We were talking about soul ties. We were talking about soul ties and how, you know, these people are doing these yoni steams, all this other stuff. Some of y'all are doing burning rituals, all of these things. And you're burning stuff that either have value, you're throwing stuff away that you're not necessarily ready to give up, or that you don't even necessarily have to. You're doing these things, once again, because, one, somebody told you that this is what has to happen in order for healing to take place. And that's not always the case. You understand? That's not always the case. If you have found peace in receiving something, all right, I'm a case in point, all right, let's say something small, okay? Well, I was in a relationship once, and someone gave me a pair of magic socks, okay? Now, me and these socks, we formed our rituals. I had these socks for a minute. Now, if I was to get into a relationship, and someone says, where'd you get those socks from? And I say, an ex bought them for me, you know what I'm saying, for a ritual that I was doing one day, and I decided to keep them. If my now present has a problem with that, you should have a problem with that. Why do you have a problem with a gift that I have? Okay? Unless I don't know how to separate the gift from the giver. If you got a painting, if you got a car, if you got a piece of artwork, if you got, you know what I'm saying, a piece of jewelry that was given to you by someone whom you may have been in a relationship previously or whatever, and now you are no longer in that relationship, you don't have to give that shit up. You don't have to. You may want to. It may be good for you to, but that's different from having to. You understand? This world of spirit, this spirituality, you should not be made, you understand? You should not be forced unless this thing is driving a wedge. Unless this thing is driving a wedge. You understand? Now, we are also in the world of spirit. We are also in the world of magic. So, I want you to consider all things when deciding to either keep or to get rid of an item. What's some things to think about? Number one, who gave it to you? Okay? Where were you in spirit? Where were you in energy realm? Where were you, you understand, when you received that thing? Okay? Does this thing contribute to your well-being, or every time you look at it, does it take something from you? Now, only you can know this, okay? Unless it's really driving a wedge, okay? For instance, I'll give you for instance. Let's say you were given a wedding ring, okay? let's say somebody proposed to you, all right? And you said yes. So now you have this ring on. And the relationship is no more, okay? And you decided, while being single, to keep the wedding ring. And not just keep it, but you wear it. And somebody asks, well, why do you wear it? I like it. It's nice. Okay, no problem. You're wearing it, Peace King, you're wearing it on your wedding finger, on your ring finger. Okay, cool. Now that's symbolization. Okay, so you got an item, you got a purpose, and you got symbolization. You then get into a new relationship. Okay, and you keep the jewelry. Not just the fact that you keep the jewelry, but you still wear it. Now, this relationship has taken wings, and now you are in love, and you're still wearing this ring. That's a lot different from having a piece of art, an animal, you know what I'm saying, a necklace, or something else. That's a lot different. Why? Because of the symbolization, because of the geometry, because of the intent, and the fact that you won't take it off of that finger is some shadow work that must be done. Okay? What's something else? All right? These things, all right? These things hold vibration. All right? Now, let's say you were given a piece of artwork, okay? Let's say this artwork is some general artwork. It was painted by someone, some third party. You got it at an arts festival. You understand? It's something that you wanted. This person bought it for you, okay? You hung it up in your house, all right? Now you and your mate done moved in, okay? And you want to hang this piece up. If it's not, you know what I'm saying? That is something completely different. Now, if your mate is having a problem with that, there's some time to ask questions. Because just because you're insecure about something doesn't mean it's creating a problem. Let me say that again. Just because you're insecure about something doesn't mean it's creating a problem. You could be creating the problem. You understand? What do I mean by that? All right, a vehicle. Let's say, you know what I mean, you were in a previous marriage, your husband or your wife bought you a car. Now, you're in a new relationship, you understand? You and your present lover, you and your present partner, okay? Now, this vehicle is the only vehicle. Don't feel like you got to give this vehicle up just because it was a gift from, you know what I'm saying, your ex. We have to understand symbolization. We have to understand vibration. We have to understand geometry. We have to understand intent. We have to understand that if I gave you something and I put my energy on it, if you haven't cleared that object, if you haven't done something to, you understand, coat it, or what's the word that I want to use? Reset it. You understand? If you haven't done that, you know what I mean? Then understand, if I give you something, if I'm talented enough and I give you something, I can always tap into it if you have not cleared it. Now, it takes talent, but we're in this world and you all need to understand these things. Doing something with the full knowledge of it, that gives you control. But doing something without knowledge, you have no idea what you're doing. So, if I'm trying to keep an object, let's say that, you know what I'm saying, an ex gave me this bottle, okay? And I hold it to be true or whatever, you know what I mean? Now, it doesn't matter if I'm in a new relationship or not. We're talking about soul ties all week. We're talking about being tied to things, being tied to people. I can dawn and clear this. I can clear this object. Just like you do stones, right? When you walk into a crystal store, people have been touching them stones. You know what I'm saying? People have been fondling those objects. People have been thumbing through those books. People have been touching those garments. You understand? What do you do when you get it home? You do what a responsible spiritualist does, and you clear it. Why? Because energy, man, that thing is serious. consciously and unconsciously. So it's up to you to be conscious in your everyday walk. Magic is not just about the rituals. Rituals is about life. You understand? And living this life, everything matters. So if I have this bottle, I can keep it as much as I want to if it was given to me by anyone. The problem is that you all are being taught not to keep it. You have to understand that you have options. Don't feel like you're made to do these things just because you come into this world. You understand? You have options. You don't have to burn everything just because somebody gave it to you. That's actually foolish when you think about it. High magic, the highest magic is intellect. Why are you going to go and burn everything? Now, not if you were instructed to, that's different. But if you were suggested to, and that didn't sit well with your spirit, but you felt like you had to just to please the spirit, that's not alignment. That's not alignment. That's something else. I'm here to free y'all from this bondage. And a lot of us, we free ourselves from religion, and then we come and then we bind ourselves. You understand? In this whole new world that not too many people know the rules to. Everybody making this shit up as they go along. Nobody has one way of doing it. It's all sporadic, and you're trying to fit in. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to gather information, and you understand? But when you all sit it down, because see, this is where religion went wrong. When you ask that question, where did we come from? Why? And no one could give you those answers. Your mind started to create. Your mind started to tell you something's going on. Let's ask some different questions. But for some reason, when we come over into this world, less questions are asked. Why? Because we start to intertwine ourselves with those who claim to be so conscious that nothing is real, or this is the only way, or this, that, the third, and they barking at you. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody need you barking. Don't nobody need you, you know what I'm saying, forcefully influencing this new way of life that ain't nobody got blueprints to. But when you break it down from a science level, when you break it down from an educational perspective, when you break it down from an intellectual perspective, when you break it down and the essence of things, you can really start to see the formation. You can really start to see the program, and you start to understand how we got so Christians are messed up because of this promise. They think, oh, I'm going to get baptized, and then all of a sudden everything's going to be washed away. Stop trying to wash away the past so much. The past is what shaped you. The past is what got you here. Learn how to appreciate your past. You don't have to throw everything away just because you're growing. And I'm telling you, that doesn't just mean objects. That means ideals. Some of y'all, you know what I'm saying, you lived a way of life for 40 years. These ways of life, it preserved you, it did these things, and then you come over into this world and you feel like you're made to throw away these ideals. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you can't even say praise Jesus no more. Listen, stop feeling like you have to throw away. And I'm talking about anything that you feel like you have to throw away. You don't have to throw away unless it is blocking you or it is affecting your growth. A lot of us are holding on to stuff and we can't grow. A lot of us are holding on to stuff that does not serve us. Your house is full of shit. Your house is just full. You got shit in every corner. And then you got a reason for keeping it. But all it's doing is cluttering your life. And your mind is just like that. You're afraid to throw away these ideas. Some of you are afraid of throwing away ideas that never served you. Just like you scared to throw away that garment. You ain't wore that size in 20 years. You just got a closet full of size 2. You've been a 14 since 14. I'm like, what are you doing? And some of y'all throwing away everything. You have nothing to leave behind. Some of y'all just throw it all out. You ain't got nothing to leave behind. This life is about balance. Life is about balance. Find that balance. You understand? Your spirituality is yours. It's yours. Yes, there are some things, you understand, that, you know, it's just common knowledge. Sure, like if you're going to astroplane, if you're going to astro travel, is very wise to ground yourself before you do so. That's not a forceful, that's not, hey, you better ground yourself, you know, but you better ground yourself. But, hey, you better throw away that garment, you know what I'm saying? Or, hey, you better throw away that car. Hey, you better get rid of that house. Hey, you better throw away, you know what I'm saying, that knowledge. Hey, that don't work. Throw that away. Nobody can tell you those things. You have to be led into it. And if you're told to throw it all away, don't be affected by what other people are saying. Don't be afraid to do what you're led to do either. Stop second guessing that voice. Learn to trust yourself. Learn to trust what's leading you. Learn to trust it. Some of us are holding on to everybody else's practices. Everybody else's practices is to show you, okay, here's a nice way of doing things. Here's a great way. I've done this like this, and every time I've done it, it's worked. I've suggested it to other people. When they've done it, it's worked. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But don't be made to feel like you have to. I had a student that contacted me. She was sending her kids to school with no lunch money for about a week. She called me up. She said, Seven, you know what I'm saying? I heard about some of the things you could do. You think you can give me a money ritual? Absolutely. I sent her the money ritual. She felt like it was so simple, she didn't want to do it. I didn't force her. You know what I'm saying? I didn't force you. Hey, look, first off, you paid for it. It's yours. You can do whatever you want to with it now. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. Put it up on the shelf, put it in your mind, memorize it, however you want to do it. However, if you're going to trust something, then trust it until you can't. You understand? This walk it's a very interesting walk. And people will try to get you to believe that it's by happenstance. Nothing is by happenstance. A lot of this is by design. Most of it is algorithm. Then there's the all of the all. And that's what connects us. Sometimes in getting rid of things, you make room for the new things. Sometimes it's for us to keep, to pass on. Sometimes it's for us to keep, to remember. Sometimes it's good to remember. Some of y'all threw away them yearbooks. You know what I'm saying? So, look, I have a bag. It's called a memory bag. It's called a memory bag. You understand? And whenever I get to a low point, whenever I allow the forces of nature, you know what I'm saying? You heard how I said, whenever I allow the forces of nature to take me to a place, you know what I'm saying, that I don't want to be, and I'm in that low point, I'm in that vibration, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. That woe is me. I go to my memory bag. I open that memory bag up and I pull them pictures out. I pull them books out. I pull them letters out. And I remember. You understand? If you're going to keep it, you don't have to keep it in view. You understand? Everything ain't got to be in view. You can make a shrine. You can put it in a place. You understand? You can give yourself the ability. For some of y'all have lost loved ones. You understand? And in the sight of them, every day looking at them pictures is messing you up. I'm not telling you to get rid of them. You can't possibly get rid of them. But some of y'all need to make a shrine. Some of y'all just need to make a shrine and put it in a certain place. Give yourself the permission to let go. And then come back and remember. Some of y'all are carrying way too much. You carrying way too much. And then some of y'all ain't remembering enough. Some of y'all out here acting so foolish, you understand, because you don't remember. This life is about balance. It's about knowledge. It's about understanding. And the more understanding you have, and the more balance you have, the more powerful your magic becomes. Because you start to realize that it forms in every essence. It's either being amplified or it's being taken away. There is no middle ground. That middle ground is a flat line. When you got a middle ground, that's a flat line. Life is always lifing. You understand? Life is always lifing. You got to learn how to catch the wave. That's the wave. This is why I say life is easy, we make it hard. I lost everyone on my mother's side of the family damn near. Within a 5-year, 6-year time frame. I had the pictures up everywhere. And I started to realize it was doing too much. It was doing too much. So I said, I'm going to give y'all a place. And I created a shrine. And ever since I created that shrine, you understand? It's been much more manageable for me. This life for you is about being manageable. If you can't manage life, you understand? Then life is controlling you. If you can't manage it, then it's shifting you instead of you shifting it. You have to start becoming the manifester. You have to start becoming, you know what I'm saying? The visionary. And this work, it takes work. It does. It takes work. But you'll get there. You just got to be able to see it. You got to be able to understand it. You got to be able to know where it is. You got to be able to hold it or fold it. That song, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Yo, it's hidden for us. And the more we start to understand it, the more power we have. I love y'all. Peace to man, woman, and child, and all things that walk the earth. As above, so below. You understand? May you be blessed and in well alignment. Do I, as I send the love to you. Share the video, y'all. You've been watching Magic Up TV. I am 70 Alchemist. Peace.